My beloved child. Stop for a moment. Do not let this message pass like every other voice you have ignored today, because something is moving toward your door, and heaven has allowed you to feel this before it arrives. There is a reason your spirit has been restless. There is a reason your mind has returned again and again to your home, your room, your window, your phone, your silence. You thought it was ordinary worry. You thought it was only your heart overthinking. But I tell you now, something has been circling your life quietly, not to destroy you, not to frighten you, but to bring a moment that your soul has been waiting for longer than your memory can explain. Someone is coming. And before their feet reach the path near your house, before their hand lifts, before the sound comes, before your heart recognizes the weight of that moment, heaven wants you to understand why. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is not a casual visit dressed in normal time. There are moments on earth that look simple from outside, but in the unseen realm they are surrounded by signs, whispers, delays, tears, prayers, and decisions that took much longer than one person will ever admit. And this one has been forming in silence. You have been asking without words. You have been waiting without confessing it. Even when you tried to move on, even when you told yourself you were done expecting anything, a small part of you still listened. A small part of you still paused when footsteps passed outside. A small part of you still wondered whether someone would finally come close enough to say what was left unsaid. My child, that feeling was not weakness. It was recognition. There is a soul connected to this moment who has been fighting an inner storm. They have stood between fear and truth. They have opened messages and closed them. They have walked away from their own emotions only to find those emotions waiting at the end of every road. They have tried to distract themselves, tried to appear strong, tried to convince others that everything is normal. But heaven has watched the trembling place inside them where your name still echoes. And now the silence is becoming heavier than the fear. That is why they are coming. Not because everything is easy. Not because they have fully prepared the perfect words. Not because they are fearless. They are coming because something inside them can no longer stay hidden without breaking. There is an hour approaching when the ordinary world will feel strangely charged. You may not know why, but the air around you will feel different. A small sound may make you look up. A message may arrive before a presence does. You may feel a sudden pull to clean something, move something, check something, or sit quietly as if your soul is preparing a space before your mind understands. Do not dismiss that. Heaven often prepares the room before it reveals the visitor. This person is not coming empty. Even if their hands carry nothing, their heart carries what has been delayed. They are bringing a reason, an explanation, a confession, or a truth that has been locked behind pride, confusion, timing, and fear. What they bring may not begin dramatically. It may begin with a simple word. A small excuse. A reason that sounds ordinary. But beneath that ordinary reason will be something far deeper. They may say they needed to check on you. They may say they were passing nearby. They may say they wanted to return something, ask something, clarify something, or see whether you were okay. But listen beyond the sentence. The first reason they give may not be the real reason. The real reason is hidden beneath their breath. They are coming because your absence has started speaking louder than your presence ever did. They are coming because the version of life without you has begun to feel cold in places they never expected. They are coming because they have seen signs too, though they may not call them signs. They have heard your name in places where it should not have appeared. They have remembered your words at the exact moment they were trying to forget. They have dreamed, wondered, hesitated, and then felt a push they could not explain. There is something sacred about a person who finally stops running from what their soul knows. But you must understand this clearly: their coming is not only about love. It is about alignment. It is about a conversation that was delayed because both hearts needed to be reshaped. It is about a truth that could not arrive earlier, because earlier it would have been mishandled. Earlier, pride would have answered. Earlier, pain would have spoken first. Earlier, one of you may have closed the door before heaven finished opening it. So time held the moment back. Delay was not denial. Silence was not absence. The waiting was not wasted. Even the tears you cried in places no one saw were not ignored. Even the nights when you asked why your heart still cared were not meaningless. Even the times you felt foolish for hoping were recorded in heaven with tenderness. You were not being mocked by destiny. You were being matured for a moment that required a different version of you. And now, that moment is moving closer. There is something this person has realized, and the realization did not come gently. It came through restlessness. It came through comparison. It came through seeing that other rooms did not feel like home. It came through noticing that other voices did not reach the hidden place your voice once reached. It came through the ache of unfinished words. They may have acted distant, but distance became their teacher. They may have chosen silence, but silence became a mirror. They may have tried to appear unaffected, but heaven saw the truth behind the mask. And now, the same heart that tried to stay away is being drawn toward the place where honesty must finally stand. Your house is not only a house in this message. It is the place of your personal world. The place where you are unguarded. The place where your real emotions live. The place where you stop performing. The place where heaven sees you as you are. For someone to come toward that space means they are approaching more than your door. They are approaching the truth of you. And that is why your spirit must be steady. Do not meet divine timing with panic. Do not let old wounds answer before wisdom speaks. Do not let shock make you cruel, and do not let tenderness make you forget your worth. Because what is coming is not meant to pull you backward into the same cycle. It is meant to reveal whether the cycle has finally changed. There is a difference between someone returning because they are lonely and someone arriving because they are awakened. There is a difference between someone knocking because they want comfort and someone coming because they are ready to speak truth. Heaven is not asking you to accept every word blindly. Heaven is asking you to listen with a spirit that is calm enough to discern. When they come, watch their eyes. Not with suspicion, but with clarity. Words can be arranged. Explanations can be rehearsed. But the eyes often carry the part of the story the mouth is afraid to tell. You may notice a softness you have not seen before. You may notice hesitation. You may notice the struggle between pride and vulnerability. You may notice that they came with one sentence prepared, but their soul is carrying many more. Let the moment breathe. Do not rush to fill every silence. Sometimes the most important truth enters through a pause. And there is a pause coming that will reveal more than a paragraph. My child, heaven has been working in places you could not see. While you were trying to survive your own emotions, another heart was being confronted. While you were learning to stand without begging, someone else was learning what your presence meant. While you were becoming quiet, they were beginning to hear. While you were releasing control, the unseen realm was arranging circumstances that no human hand could force. This is why you felt strange shifts recently. A sudden memory. A heaviness that came and went. A dream that stayed with you after waking. A name appearing in your mind without invitation. A feeling near evening, near night, or in the still hours when the world becomes honest. These were not accidents. They were echoes before arrival. Something in the spiritual atmosphere has already moved before the physical step is taken. But I must tell you this, the reason they are coming may surprise you because it is not only about what they want to say. It is also about what they have seen. Something happened around them that changed the way they understood you. A conversation. A realization. A moment of loss. A sudden fear. A quiet comparison. A sign that struck deeper than expected. They saw something that made them remember your heart. They heard something that made them question their choices. They felt something that made them realize time is not as endless as pride pretends. And now there is urgency. Not the kind of urgency that creates fear, but the kind that makes the soul say, I cannot keep delaying what heaven keeps bringing back to me. This urgency is why they may come at a time that feels unusual. Not necessarily the loudest hour. Not necessarily when everything is perfect. It may be a time when you are not fully prepared, because destiny often arrives when the heart is honest, not when the room is staged. It may be after a quiet stretch. It may be near a moment when you had finally stopped expecting. It may be when your spirit whispers, something feels different, and then the world answers. Do not obsess over the clock. The time is not only a number. The time is a condition. They are coming when fear becomes weaker than truth. They are coming when silence becomes heavier than confession. They are coming when the lesson has reached its edge. They are coming when heaven permits what delay could no longer hold. And when that happens, you will understand why you were asked to hear this now. There is a reason this message found you before the moment. Heaven does not reveal everything to make you anxious. Heaven reveals enough to make you ready. Your readiness matters because your response can either open a doorway of healing or repeat an old pattern of reaction. So breathe. Gather your spirit. Return to your center. You are not the same person who once waited desperately for crumbs of attention. You are not the same soul who would have accepted confusion just to avoid emptiness. You have grown in hidden ways. You have survived nights that changed your inner voice. You have learned that love without peace becomes a burden, and attention without truth becomes a trap. That growth will be tested gently, but clearly. Because when they arrive, the old version of you may want to rush forward. The wounded version may want to pull away. The hopeful version may want to believe everything immediately. The guarded version may want to reject everything before it begins. But the awakened version of you will listen. That is the version heaven is calling forward. Not cold. Not desperate. Not proud. Not afraid. Steady. There is something they need from you, but not in the way you think. They do not only need your forgiveness. They do not only need your answer. They do not only need your presence. They need to see the truth of what their choices created. They need to stand in front of the person they affected and realize that your heart was never a game, never a convenience, never a place to visit only when loneliness became loud. And yet, they also need to see that grace still exists. Grace does not mean pretending nothing happened. Grace means truth can be spoken without poison. Grace means the door of conversation can open without surrendering your dignity. Grace means you can hear them without losing yourself. This is important because the moment may carry emotion. Strong emotion. The kind that rises quickly and makes the past feel alive again. You may remember old words, old disappointments, old prayers. You may feel the ache of what you wished had happened sooner. You may wonder why now. Why after all this time? Why after you had to become strong alone? And heaven will not shame you for asking. But heaven will also whisper, look deeper. Sometimes people arrive late because they were not ready to bring anything but damage earlier. Sometimes a delayed arrival is mercy, not punishment. Sometimes the person you wanted then could only hurt you, but the person coming now has been pressed by life, humbled by silence, and confronted by truth. Still, you must discern. Not every return is restoration. Not every knock is destiny. Not every emotional confession is transformation. But this message is about one particular coming, one particular approach, one particular reason that has been moving beneath the surface. And your soul will know, because when the moment arrives, there will be a strange recognition. Not confusion alone. Not fantasy alone. Recognition. It may feel like, I knew something was coming. It may feel like, this is why I could not fully close the chapter. It may feel like, now I understand the restlessness. And yet, even then, you must not abandon wisdom. Heaven is not sending this message to make you chase. Heaven is not asking you to wait by the door with anxious hands. Heaven is not telling you to stop your life and stare into the distance. Continue your day. Keep your dignity. Let your spirit stay open, but not unstable. What is meant to arrive will not require you to beg it into motion. What heaven permits will find the path. And there is a path being found now. Someone has been rehearsing words in their mind. They have imagined how you might respond. They have feared rejection. They have wondered whether too much time has passed. They have questioned whether you will look at them differently. They have felt the weight of what they did not say when they had the chance. But the deeper truth is this: they are not only afraid of your reaction. They are afraid of their own truth. Because once they speak it, they cannot hide behind uncertainty anymore. Once they stand near you and say what has been buried, the illusion of control breaks. Once they admit why they came, the story changes. That is why the unseen realm has been pressing on them. A person can ignore a thought. They can ignore a sign. They can ignore one dream. They can ignore one memory. But when heaven begins to line up mirrors around a soul, eventually the soul must look. And they have been looking. They have seen where pride cost them peace. They have seen where fear disguised itself as logic. They have seen how avoiding a conversation did not erase the connection. They have seen that silence can become its own kind of confession. Now they are coming because the silence has betrayed them. It revealed too much. It revealed that they still care. It revealed that unfinished love does not become finished just because someone refuses to speak. It revealed that the heart can pretend in public while aching in private. And this is where the mystery deepens, because their reason for coming is connected to something you did without realizing its power. You may think you did nothing. You may think you only stepped back. You may think you only became quiet because you were tired. But your silence became a boundary, and that boundary became a message. Your absence became a mirror. Your peace, even imperfect peace, began to speak in the unseen. When you stopped chasing, something in them lost the comfort of being pursued. When you stopped explaining your worth, heaven began explaining it through absence. They felt the difference. They noticed the space. They realized that your energy was no longer waiting at the same door inside them. And that scared them more than they expected. Not because they wanted control, though a part of them may have grown used to it, but because your withdrawal revealed the possibility of finality. It made them feel the edge of losing access to a soul that once cared deeply. It made them ask, what if this time they do not come back? What if this time their silence means they are healing beyond me? What if I waited too long? That question has been haunting them. And it is one of the reasons they are coming. They are coming to interrupt what they fear may become permanent. They are coming because the thought of being a memory has become unbearable. They are coming because something in them finally understands that love cannot survive forever on unspoken feelings. But there is still more. There is a second layer. Someone around them may have spoken words that pierced them. It could have been advice, criticism, a warning, a casual sentence, or a story that sounded unrelated but struck the hidden place. Heaven can use unexpected mouths to deliver awakening. A stranger's sentence. A friend's observation. A family member's question. A moment seen in another person's life. Something made them think of you differently. And once that thought entered, it did not leave. It followed them. Into quiet rooms. Into distracted conversations. Into night. Into morning. Into the space between decisions. They began to realize that coming to you is not only about what they want. It is about what must be made right. That is why this visit carries weight. Not fear. Weight. There is a holy seriousness around moments where truth finally approaches the place it once avoided. When they come, the reason may unfold slowly. Do not demand the deepest truth in the first breath. Sometimes a soul circles the truth before entering it. Sometimes someone begins with the smaller reason because the real one is too vulnerable to place immediately in the open. Let them reveal enough to show whether courage is present. But do not allow endless circles. There is a difference between nervous honesty and continued avoidance. You will know. Your spirit has been trained through pain to recognize the difference. And yes, pain trained you, but it did not ruin you. That is another thing heaven wants you to hear before this moment comes. You may believe the past made you too sensitive, too cautious, too emotional, too hard to love. But I say your heart is not ruined. It is refined. It now notices what it once ignored. It now hears what silence means. It now feels when words and energy do not match. This discernment is not a curse. It is protection. Use it gently. Use it wisely. Do not use it as a weapon against someone trying to be sincere, but do not lay it down for someone who has not changed. The moment ahead is not only about them proving something. It is also about you seeing yourself clearly. You will discover whether you still abandon your peace when someone familiar returns. You will discover whether your healing has roots. You will discover whether you can be compassionate without becoming available to confusion. This is why heaven allowed preparation. The knocking is not the beginning. The beginning happened when your spirit started sensing movement. The beginning happened when you felt pulled inward. The beginning happened when certain memories returned not to hurt you, but to show you what still needed wisdom. And now the outer world is catching up to the inner signal. Someone is coming to your house at this time for this reason, because the truth they buried has become too heavy to carry away from you any longer. But they are also coming because a decision must be made. Not necessarily a final decision in one conversation. Not necessarily a dramatic promise under the sky. But a decision about whether honesty will finally replace assumption. Whether maturity will replace pride. Whether the door between you remains closed, opens carefully, or closes with peace. This is not a small thing. That is why the energy feels different. The unseen realm is quiet around careless moments. But around turning points, there is a stillness. A sacred pause. A sense that even time is listening. You may feel that stillness before they arrive. You may suddenly become quiet. You may stop in the middle of doing something. You may feel your heart beat differently. You may look toward the entrance before there is any sound. Because the soul often hears footsteps before the ears do. And when the moment comes, remember this. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to breathe before answering. You are allowed to say less. You are allowed to ask direct questions. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to receive an apology without immediately deciding the future. A divine moment does not require emotional recklessness. Sometimes the holiest response is calm. Sometimes the strongest answer is, tell me the truth. And they will have to choose. that choice will reveal everything. Because the real reason they are coming has been wrapped in smaller reasons, but once they stand close enough, heaven will press the truth toward the surface. They may resist for a moment. They may look away. They may speak around it. But something in the atmosphere will not let the old mask feel comfortable. The truth wants to come out. And when truth wants to come out, even trembling words can become powerful. My child, I must bring you deeper now. There is a part of this visit connected to regret. Not shallow regret. Not the kind that appears only when life becomes lonely. A deeper regret, the kind that visits when someone realizes they misunderstood the value of what was in front of them. They may not have known how to name your love. They may have taken your patience as permanence. They may have mistaken your gentleness for weakness. They may have believed there would always be more time. But time has been teaching them. Time has a voice when heaven uses it. It says, "Look what you delayed." It says, "Look what you risked." It says, "Look what pride could not protect." And for this person, time has started speaking loudly. That is why their coming may feel sudden to you, but it has not been sudden inside them. It has been building through many small moments. A thought here. A memory there. A comparison. A disappointment. A question. A night where sleep did not feel peaceful. A morning where your name returned before they could stop it. Then came the turning point. There was a moment when they realized that not coming would cost them more than coming. That was the shift. And once that shift happened, the road toward your door began forming. But here is what they do not know: heaven has already been speaking to you too. Not to make you anxious, but to make you aware. This message is part of that preparation. Your spirit is being told to stand in truth before truth stands in front of you. Do not shrink. Do not perform. Do not become the version of yourself that thinks love must be earned by accepting half-truths. You are not being asked to harden. You are being asked to awaken. There is a difference. Hardness says, "I will never feel." Awakening says, "I will feel, but I will also see." Hardness says, "No one can reach me." Awakening says, "Only truth can enter." Hardness closes every door. Awakening guards the sacred door wisely. And the sacred door is your heart. When they come, they are approaching that door before they ever approach the physical one. Now listen carefully, because this is the part many miss. Sometimes heaven sends a person not to give you the ending you imagined, but to give you the clarity you prayed for. Sometimes the visit is not the restoration itself, but the key that reveals whether restoration is possible. Sometimes the conversation is the bridge. Sometimes it is the closure. Sometimes it is the beginning of healing in a form you did not expect. Do not decide before the moment speaks. Let truth reveal its shape. But also do not ignore what is revealed. If they come with humility, you will feel it. If they come with manipulation, you will feel that too. If they come with love but no maturity, you will sense the gap. If they come with truth and willingness, the atmosphere will soften. Your spirit will not be confused forever. Confusion is often the fog before a deeper knowing rises. Wait for the deeper knowing. There is one more reason this visit matters. It is connected to something in your own life that is about to shift. You may think this is only about them, but heaven is using this moment to unlock something in you. A confidence. A release. A confirmation. A new chapter. A restoration of trust in your own intuition. For a long time, you may have questioned what you sensed. You may have asked, was I imagining it? Did I feel too much? Did I misunderstand the connection? Was I foolish to believe there was more beneath the silence? And the coming moment will answer something. Maybe not every question, but one important question. It will show you that your soul was not crazy for sensing unfinished energy. It will show you that what you felt had roots somewhere real. It will show you that silence does not always mean nothing is happening. It will show you that heaven can work even when human beings refuse to speak. This does not mean every hope becomes exactly what you imagined. It means your intuition will be honored. And that honor matters. Because someone made you doubt your inner knowing. Someone's distance made you question your worth. Someone's silence made you wonder whether your heart had lied to you. But heaven is bringing a moment where what was hidden begins to step into the visible. That is why this feels so intense. Invisible things are preparing to become visible. Unspoken things are preparing to seek language. Avoided emotions are preparing to stand at the threshold. And you, beloved child, are being prepared not to collapse under the weight of it. You are stronger than the last time this story touched you. You are wiser than the version of you who waited without boundaries. You are more loved than the part of you that felt forgotten could understand. Heaven did not abandon you in the waiting. Heaven was shaping you in the waiting. And now that shaping will matter. Because when the knock comes, or the message comes, or the sign comes that they are near, your first instinct may be emotional. That is human. But let your second response be spiritual. Let it rise from the deeper place. The place that knows love is sacred. The place that knows truth matters. The place that knows your peace is not for sale. Do not ask, how do I make them stay? Ask, what truth is being revealed? Do not ask, what if I lose this chance? Ask, is this chance aligned with my healing? Do not ask, what do they feel? Ask, what are they willing to do with what they feel? That question changes everything. Many people feel deeply and still choose poorly. Many people miss someone and still avoid growth. Many people return emotionally and leave spiritually unchanged. But when someone feels, chooses, speaks, and acts with humility, then the story has room to transform. That is what you must watch for. The reason they are coming is not only because they feel something. It is because something is demanding that they do something with what they feel. That demand is coming from within them, but it is also being stirred by heaven. A divine pressure. A holy discomfort. A mercy that does not allow the soul to remain asleep. And now the distance between intention and action is closing. You may sense it as heaviness. You may sense it as anticipation. You may sense it as a sudden quiet joy mixed with nerves. You may sense it as a strange certainty that something is about to happen, even if no one has told you anything. Trust the calm part of that feeling, not the anxious part. The calm knowing is where guidance often speaks. The anxious storm is where old wounds echo. Separate them. The calm knowing will not beg. It will not panic. It will not force. It will simply say, "Be ready." And that is what I am saying to you now. Be ready. Not with fear. With presence. Not with fantasy. With discernment. Not with bitterness. With strength. Not with desperation. With dignity. Because the person coming toward your house is also coming toward a mirror, and the mirror is you. They will see what their absence did. They will see what your growth changed. They will see that you are not standing in the same emotional place where they last left you. And that may unsettle them. It may make them more honest. It may make them realize they cannot return with the same old patterns and expect the same open access. This is necessary. Because love without transformation becomes repetition. And heaven is not interested in repeating what wounded you. Heaven is interested in revealing what is true, healing what is ready, and removing what refuses light. The coming moment will carry all three possibilities: revelation, healing, removal. That is why you must not cling too tightly to one outcome. Let heaven show you which one is being offered. If it is revelation, receive clarity. If it is healing, receive peace. If it is removal, receive freedom. But if it is restoration, receive it slowly, wisely, and with the dignity of someone who knows that sacred things must be rebuilt with truth. The hour is moving. The reason is ripening. The footsteps, whether physical or emotional, are closer than they were before. And there is something they have not told anyone yet. Something they may barely have admitted to themselves. Something that sits behind the reason they will give you first. When they arrive, they may speak of circumstances, timing, concern, a need to talk, a small unfinished matter. But beneath that first layer is a sentence they have been afraid to say. A sentence that could change the atmosphere between you. A sentence that explains why their soul could not stay away. A sentence that heaven has heard in their silence again and again. And when that sentence rises to their lips, everything around you may feel still. Because the real reason they are coming is not what they will say at the door. The real reason is what they will finally confess after you let the silence stretch just long enough.